Hey folks, as you can tell I don't have the full set on yet today, but basically with this video, I'm going to change things up a bit and do sort of a put-on video of me getting into the suit itself. That, along with of course the outer outfit that goes with it, aka this guy here. So you kind of a full deal here, but yeah. I would like to do more down the line, but honestly that requires money and resources that I currently do not have. That requires money and resources that I do not have. As working retail tends to not exactly be the most enjoyable of jobs, especially with the constant corporate hour cuts and everything else that corporations are constantly doing. They imprint so savant against me, but let me tell you, and that doesn't get very far in this day and age. But I am trying. Anyway, to get back to the main focus here, let's do on the suit. I figured before I put on the actual inflatable suit itself, I'd showcase the outer bit, just to get y'all an idea of what it looks like on its own. Now, honestly, you don't know. You bit with your arm to find an armhole. But basically, got Velcro versus snap to put it on. Alright, missing up one down yet. Haha. And then the other holes. But as you can tell, there's that. So very loose, hence why when you put it on over the suit itself, you'd basically inflate it. Then it comes out pooping up big, round, and out, basically. So fun times there. Haha. The perspective here, because yeah, when you're putting the suit on, it's generally best to be doing it sitting down. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I took the mask off, but that is the overall look. Honestly, that, and when you are putting on the suit, or advice, if you are doing a mask with it, do the mask after the fact, not beforehand. So with it, we're going to grab the suit here, which I have last time around. Do the zippers and all further down a bit. Obviously, a link will be in the description where you can purchase the suit yourself, or similar ones. My word of advice, go direct to the manufacturer, don't deal with third parties. They're claiming to be whatever. Go with the direct brands like basically Hongwai or Shenzhen Bailey Inflatables, as they're the ones that are actually doing the work. Some of the other brands that are out there, there's a lot of them that are basically just resellers. They don't do any actual production work. They exist, but they're not the ones actually selling it. Now, honestly, as you can tell, it is definitely an endeavor to get this thing under control. Now, honestly, when you do buy it, they do ship them out in a very nice bag. So it's very convenient. Now, the first thing you definitely want to be doing, you're putting it on your leg holes. Whew. Give me a quick second here. And once you've done that, then you can actually put on, do the effort of actually getting the thing on. As honestly, one of them's here. And that one you can get your foot into now. Just a second. So like I said, once you find them, it's easy enough to do it. Now, granted, when you are putting a suit like this on, you definitely have help. Because you can technically do it on your own, but even at that point, you're still going to run into a lot of risk. And even then, you can't really tell. I'm sweating a bit. Now, part of that's just my own weight and being a bit out of shape. And of course, the other thing I can say, if you can't get yourself a cooling vest, get a cooling vest. And have that on first, too, to help keep yourself from overheating while wearing the suit. Because on its own, when you are wearing the suit, you're not going to be able to do long in it. At most, probably an hour or two minimum. And even then, considering the nature of the material, being that it is a insulator type material, let me tell you, it gets hot. By the time I get out of the suit, this blue outfit that I'm currently wearing, this blue cat suit, basically, can get to the point that you're basically covered in sweat. So for something like this, if you're going to wear a suit like this repeatedly, I'd probably recommend getting multiple suits, along with doing a cooling vest. And you can make one pretty easily. Only thing it requires is a bit of sewing knowledge. And for something like that, best way I can say to make one is basically work off like a t-shirt pattern, but with the layered design, double it up. So in other words, you have one side, that way you have one side that's your inner pocket. It's like your actual shirt thing itself. Then you have an outer layer that basically is your pockets. And you can go back and add zippers and all that other if you want to, but that's a whole nother ball game. Depending on what you're doing. You can do it where it's all top-based. There's really tons of different ways you can make it and do it. There's not like a right or wrong way. Next goal to find the other leg hole. Again, bottom of the suit. I'm now done. As you can tell here. Here will be the other one. Because you basically put this on legs first. Once you've done that, then you can start zipping it up behind you. And going from there in the process. Hence this next thing here, I'm getting the old leg again. Honestly, once you got both legs in, you can now put the suit on. Now when you are zipping it up, you obviously want to be fully in the suit first. Hands, legs, full shindig. Now I will mention the suit though is also made with, like the outer bit that I showed earlier, that's made out of the same material as this. Now once you have the air and all that in it, it's all a look thing, that's all it is. Basically by the time it's all said and done, you're just one big giant blueberry. Honestly, it's a whole thing to get in here. And even once you do get in, you can take that outer zipper, or the inner one, or even both if you want to, and do it. Now granted, I would definitely recommend having like a ribbon or something like that on attached part of that, because they do give you some big ones. But those do help kind of get the suit on further. And you can tell I'm now fully in the suit. Now covered with my head. Now obviously you can't see it because it's in here. But we are now ready on the inside here to do the zippers. Starting with the inner one. Because you don't necessarily want to do this inner one all the way up, but you want to leave yourself enough of a gap that you can actually get the outer one up as well. But you want to make sure when you're doing this thing, you're doing it all the way. And of course now I got my hand fully close to up on it. Because when you're doing it with this, so you almost have to like hold on to the deal. Make it work. Now that's obviously where again This is where, you know, the zipper's here. Even if just, once you get most of the way, it's even if just from there to start basically pulling it up all the way. Sealing it off, because this inner one and outer, you want those both to be pretty much all the way up. Because you don't want any air necessarily getting out. So once you've done that, then it's about getting into this outer one here. Because like I said, once you inflate this thing, you're going to have very, very limited mobility. I do mean limited. Now, if you are want to pound right on the spot, you're having trouble with this thing, getting it going. Just in here. This way you can kind of go use it here and do it. Again, as you can tell finally here, like I'm sweating. Because, you know, heat. Now, the other thing I can say too, if you got like one of those little portable fans, use that too. Have that around with you in the room. You are moving about. Now, yes, you can kind of roll with this suit, but I wouldn't recommend it. As a lot of this is kind of like if you were looking at it from the code angles, yes, to a certain degree that some people can sexualize it. But for others, there's some folks that do it just because it's like things like this, because it's a good way to basically limit one's mobility to where it basically just gets you to thinking, you know, processing and doing. But honestly, I mean, now I've got the suit fully done up. And with that part done, because the suit, the zipper here would be basically in the back of the suit. So there's not really a set way to do it, but you could technically do on that. Because your valve is technically on this side. Inside here. And again, honestly, sweat can sometimes make it a little bit difficult to put the suit on. Now then you gotta rotate yourself around. Be pointing it. Before now, doing the next thing. Of getting the shirt on. Hands, your arms, and all your other. And again, if you need to, and you're in the process of getting the suit on, you need a chair. Always good to keep a chair nearby. But basically, this whole process isn't difficult. It's more so just time consuming. Because you really want to be doing this in like a very an extremely well ventilated space. Especially going to something like this like that. Now, obviously, to clean it and maintain it, from what I was told by the manufacturer, the best way to do it is just basic soap and water. That's what they told me. I don't know if that's recommend Dawn or anything like that. But generally, like an oil-free one or something like that, just something that's a little more safer, I guess, something like this. Because you can get this stuff like this and all kinds of material, even latex. But honestly, if you got a latex allergy, don't use that. Or don't get a suit like that. Get it made out of something like, you know, PVC vinyl here, and so on. Now granted, you got Joann's in the area too. You could probably even have something like this made out of material from there. Only downside is you would need to do a lot of gluing to make it work successfully. But as you can tell, the full outer bit is basically on, with of course the actual inflation valve underneath this outer blueberry bit itself. Now when you are doing the pump here, can't really show it, you'd basically undo the nozzle, and again it's also you need to have your arms in their ways, because when you are buying something like this, you can get multiple sizes easily. I myself have this suit designed for me, my height, and I'm a 6'4" guy. I'm a pretty tall dude. So you definitely run into that. Now honestly, if you are doing an inflation pump and you're doing it late at night, word of advice, use a towel to basically help drown out some of the sounds. Otherwise, the other thing I could recommend, do a hand pump. Which, something like this tonight, and I get to give you all a little more of an enjoyable experience out of the deal, we'll go that route. Now that I've got the pump open, hand back in there, and share back. Because here's the thing, something like this, you can make this out of anything. There's folks that have even done something similar on trash bags. So, you know, it's a matter of just resource. And two, how bad do you want something like this made? Because for me, this is all purchased basically off of a, you know, tax moolah, which helps. Now that you can tell, moving around the room here, the suit literally does hit, like, literally right on the ground. Now, obviously for my air pump that I'm using, it's one from Intux. Now, if you got a 5 Below in your area, they sell one of these, like, something like this too. Or, of course, there's always the DIY solution and so on. With stuff like this, there's never really a right or wrong way. It's just finding a system that works for what you're needing. Because you can even do an electric pump. But noise-wise, again, we'll go with the other. Because this is the tip that we're basically wanting. It'll go all the way down in here due to the size of the head. And I know some brands tend to do a little more customization work on them. Fine and dandy. Oops, give me a second here. And you can go back and add stuff to them. Now, granted, my order device, when they're manufacturing it, go direct to the manufacturer and let them deal with it. Because maintaining something like this can be a whole nother ballgame. Honestly, I've got the whole deal here inside the hole. Pull the other one out. It has like, it's basically a multi-layered valve, which is nice. I'm only doing this, just kind of wrap it around one of the deals here to help keep it from getting going on. And that should hopefully help keep it from getting out while we are pumping. And of course now, the ever so important fun. And again, honestly, as I'm doing this, still hot as ever. And I do have multiple fans running in the room. So again, if you are doing something like this, use a fan or cooling vest or whatever else. Now, if you are in a hurry to get this thing in place for an event, my word of advice, get a portable pump. Don't put the suit on actually in the hotel room. Then once you leave the hotel room, then inflate the suit to wander around wherever else. Or of course you can do, you know, any number of solutions. Because one thing that can help too, keep it cool, use a towel. Which I do have. And I guess we can work to help keep you from getting too hot. Now, obviously, those initial pumps, you're not necessarily going to bring out a lot of air anyway into the suit. It does take a while to get to that point of being a big round berry of sorts, if you will. And a few tricks that I figured out on it. Rather than mounting up on my little metal racks that I have here in space, and then basically pumping along that. Now, granted, you could probably come up with something way more efficient than I could. Good on you for that. Yep. Slowly but surely, as more and more air fills the suit, you will soon to eventually feel it. Honestly, it'd be a nice big round ball of juice. And of course, you know, referencing back to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory franchise. As this suit is basically inspired by the original film, not the later one. As the original had a little more going for it, as they basically used sort of like a foam ball design, if I remember correctly. Whereas the later one, with Johnny Depp, used more or less a CGI solution. Which even back then, CGI wasn't necessarily a thing, so they had to get real creative for the special effects to make them reality. And even then, it is a thing. Yeah, if you really are in a hurry, use an electric pump. Because I am going to mention something like this, moving around a space, you're gonna have a hard time getting through various doors in a room. Pretty easily here. Now, although I was pumping only, I'm tired. If you can sit down and do this for a bit, and then once you get to that point, then come back and, you know, really have at it. But I will mention, a pump like this, you can have something like this for less than $20 real quick. Same with the other pumps. So those are going to be more for like air mattresses and so on. Now, if you got $50 in your area, they sell an air mattress that comes with the pump for like $20, $30 something like that. But the nice thing with it is it actually uses Ford C-cell batteries to basically power it. So if you're on the go or don't necessarily want to plug it in, you do have that option. Or of course, Intex does have a line of air pumps, one of which is literally the exact same as the other one. Only difference between the two of them in design is the fact that you can literally use one of them on the go wirelessly because it has a built-in battery, whereas the other one is the same one, but you basically got to plug it in to use it. So it does have a little more oomph compared to the other. Now, as we look at this yellow dot, you probably think of being some sort of clown. I guess in some ways you're not wrong. For me, I'll say this. Wearing this suit's more or less a way, I guess, to limit one's mobility for the sake of relaxation. Because it gets you just to kind of stop and not deal with the world. Because if you can't move around, you can't do anything. It's like being... I guess a good way to really describe it instead of having to go to like one of those spa places that have the sensory deprivation chambers, it's kind of a similar concept. Only thing is, you're at home doing this. You fill up the suit, there you go. You get yourself big and round to the point that you're basically immobile because your arms sitting spread out over here that you basically can't move like you need to. And even with that, you're limited on your mobility because your body is just kind of in a state of just can't really do anything. Your legs are all spread out. Whatever else. But yes, so something I think probably should be mentioned here, and I'm not necessarily trying to get political with this, but with everything going on in the current political climate, I have to say the biggest thing anybody can do right now, don't go worshiping your idols. Or better yet, don't go treating people like you're this special thing when reality is, at the end of the day, they're nothing. They're just like you, me, next guy down the street. They're all the same like everybody else. Only problem is when a bunch of people start coming in here and idolize these guys, it leads to things like corruption. Some don't get corrupted, but there's a good many that do get corrupted. And even with something like that, you know, you look at corporations today. There's so many brands out there now. They can't even pay they don't even pay their own employees a decent. They don't give them enough money, basically, at the end of the day, to live on. They're constantly having to borrow money. They're constantly having to do all these extra things just to pay bills. And even I do that myself just to survive. I don't want to do that, but I don't have a choice. And that's because of big corporations and even big grocery, for instance. They control a lot of this. They've got the power to go in here and make change, to go after a lot of this, to start cutting back. Or to look at, okay, how can we make this more affordable, or how can we do what we need to do as a business? Like, you look at businesses back in the day, they actually put effort into their employees. They wanted them to be successful. Whereas now, it's a whole ball game just to get anywhere. You want a promotion? It's not going to happen. You basically go find another job just to get ahead. Which says a lot. Because nobody should have to go through that on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And a lot of this, I'd say, comes back down to the point of just hold yourself accountable. Be accountable. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. But at the end of the day, keep yourself in check. Do the right thing. You know, it's not hard. It's just doing it even when others aren't telling you, oh, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Because of the fact that you're out here doing the right thing anyway, want it just being a feel-good deal anyway. Because, hey, look at me, I'm doing the right thing. I'm not asking for all the extra. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. It's this, that, yada, yada, yada. You know, so it's one of those things, like former President Trump, for instance. The guy's off out here spewing lies. He doesn't care. And yet people are eating it up. No accountability. And yet you look at what's going on now as a result of that. You have an entire town basically living in fear, constantly having to worry about, hey, can we do what we need to do or live our lives? Because we got to worry about, is someone going to hurt us? Because some stinking drama that somebody put out there on the internet that didn't even happen. And again, it goes back down to the concept of accountability. Businesses don't do it. It's not hard. They can hold themselves accountable. They're just choosing not to do it. You know, including individuals. Individuals can hold themselves accountable. But when you constantly choose not to do the right thing, you're going to lead yourself into trouble. You know. Like, you look at even sports. Same thing. You got so many people out here that idolize sports. To the point of, is that really the one thing that's going to make you any money in the long term? How much that really is going to benefit you? It all comes back down to the point of one has to be careful. Because if you're not careful, you're going to do more harm to yourself than what it's worth in the long run to pay that penalty. You know, sports are great and all. The fact that we have people out here gambling on them, doing all this other, everything else, do a bit of thinking on that, you know? At what point did the idea of doing a game for the fun of it start becoming oh yeah, let's make money off of this, let's turn it into this whole big thing? You know, it all goes back to just simply holding yourself accountable. It's not hard. Doing the right thing, doing the stuff, you know, contributing. Like at my own retail job, here's the thing. One of the things, the place where I work has is a school donation drive. The number of people that are not willing to spend an extra $10, $5, whatever else, to help low-income students get an education that's successful in life, is that it's not hard to do it. Even just simply rounding up your change at the end of the day. Or the store has a rewards program, get on it. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of those people, they don't hit those numbers, they get in trouble. Especially if they're the only one having to run the whole front zone. You know. Like, it becomes a thing. So at the end of the day, it really needs to be one of those setups of just, you know, hold yourself accountable. Help out your fellow man versus just being this creep that says, hey, do this or that or whatever else. Don't be a bunch of talk. Okay? More than not, if I could do it, I'd totally do more in the community, my own local community if I could. Problem is, money. I can't afford it. I don't make enough money as it is to let alone handle it. When you're living off $200 over 2 weeks or $400 a month in this economy, you can kiss doing a lot of stuff goodbye. And that's even with assistance and everything else. Because at the end of the day, it all comes back down to every human being helping their fellow man. Not just one or two people, but everyone contributing, adding to society. And yet here we are constantly a divided nation, constantly a divided world, not doing the things that we need to do as human beings to make it so that everyone can benefit. You know, even creatively, you know, it's one of these things. Art's a great thing to have. But even with art, there's even that point of just you hold yourself accountable even in that. You know that there are certain things that you just don't do. You know, the difference of just right versus wrong. Yeah, we're getting there. Eventually, it'll be nice, big, and round. And eventually, when you hit that point, that's when it's a whole other ballgame. Now, granted, it's probably the first time I actually was outer bit, because usually when I've wore the suit on its own, I've done it with just the inner bit, comes with it. And honestly, it just comes in a nice little bag. The granted, the bag itself is not, I'd say, it's good for long-term, it's good for storage, I'll give you that. But it is one of the type of material bags that you do it the wrong way and you can definitely fall apart on you pretty quick. So it'd probably be one of the things I might go back at some point and look at what are you making with a stronger material. Haven't really decided. But I basically have an entire stack of materials in multiple totes, technically in 2 different spots. So there's that. And again, I was going to say something in the last video. I've not done anything as of late to figure out where that little hiss is at. So I can get that patched up. But even at the end of the day, it's probably not so much a bad thing for it to be there at a safety precaution, because you really don't want the suit to be too filled. Or else you might run into problems of it basically getting damaged in a severe way. And considering what this suit costs, about $500 ship, and that's with going by sea freight and then hitting LA to UPS and then transport it over. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of it. Because sometimes stuff like this, shipping can be pretty pricey because of weight. What am I hearing? Probably just myself. Hopefully you can still hear me in this video properly. Because the microphone I'm using is one that I picked up from Five Below on a bit of a budget thing. I've got another one that I got from Monster, but it's a wired one. So that one's going to be very limited on cable length. Whereas this guy is basically a wireless mic that you can get. And I believe Five Below still has these in stock, and I'll also give you a link to those. Well, so I do seem to like a lot of their products. Because I have gotten many of the little random tech items, especially in store. And then you just kind of never know what they're going to come up with sometimes. Sometimes they got stuff that's really good, and then sometimes they've got stuff that's just kind of like, is this a good idea? Not so much. Just kind of depends. Then we also have a lot of pop cultural items, t-shirts, posters, just all kinds of random things. And of course, if you need a phone charger on the cheap, they are one option you could look into. As I would say, the ones in Dollar Tree, depending on what you're doing, are okay. But sometimes for some things, you're better off spending the extra bit of money to get the better product. Even on headphones. Because you can get cheap old headphones, and they'd be complete garbage. Even some of the promotional ones they make. Because even some of those aren't exactly the greatest quality. Getting there. Still very much sitting near the ground. Hot as can be in the suit. So I'm going to do this and move the chair out of the way. More so. You can see the suit in its full glory. At some point, one of these days, I will probably look at reworking my lighting arrangement. As I am working on what's already just here in the room. I do have one of those ring lights, and it is handy. I have used it on occasion. So I've got a bit of stuff, plus my little camera gimbal I'm using here also has a light built in. But that I've had for a little over a year now. And it has been pretty handy. Now that I think like this though too, you could do all kinds of skits if you want to. If you really want to spend the money on it, if you were doing a take on Charlie and Chocolate Factory for a stage production, and you are doing the scene with, Veruca Salt getting all inflated or whatever here, or what's her name anyway, you could buy something like this and have it all done up there. Only downside is you don't have to figure out a way to run the airline and so on to do it effectively. So that way, nobody gets hurt. But also, too, there's that in timing. Because I think a few different variations, even Spirit's got something of one. So that's done with a different type of material. And something like that, you basically got to constantly going. Do it. But but something like that works good for like a one-off production or whatever else. Hence why most people don't buy suits like this. Nope. Double check the holes here. Yeah, we go good. What I'm probably going to do is pull this off to the side. My arm is getting a bit tired. And we work this off the side here. Got a side shelf here. But yeah, something like this, you can definitely do it by hand. But again, you probably would want somebody helping you out. If you're doing it by hand like I am here in this video. And I might go back in and see about speeding it up a bit here. Most likely I'll probably just leave it in the more natural state to help folks out. Kind of give you a more real-time effect. In some ways, one thing I can say too, by the way, if you are trying to lose weight, having a suit like this can actually be really handy. Because the amount of sweating that you're doing, you're burning those calories off pretty quick. Easily. Now, what to say, when winter starts hitting, this might be a good suit to keep warm in. Even just uninflated. Because literally the first thing I did when I got out of the box is basically just put it on. Uninflated. But I will definitely be working on a solution towards getting a proper cooling vest. But most likely be something I will make. Because I have plenty of material for it. But then again, I might have to buy some. But if I do that, I'll probably be going to Joann's and buying some vinyl material to make a vest. Then, of course, gluing it together and going through all the work there to make it into a thing. And there's one project I am working on, but I've kind of had off to the side for the moment, just due to work and numerous other things. I'm making a DIY inflatable suit like this. Now, obviously, I wouldn't have this outer bit here, but it'd just be the inner part. Basically using product that you can find pretty easily off the shelf, specifically Five Below branded soccer balls. Not the little small ones that have a thicker material. These are these 3-footer ones that they sell there at the store. No longer currently available because of being out of season. Part of their summer collection. But if anyone does want one or need a couple, I can definitely sell them to you. So I do have quite a few on hand that at the moment I'm not doing anything with. But yeah, eventually you can start kind of feeling the whole lack of mobility. And even then, the suit does take up basically a good chunk of the room. Hence where, again, like I said before, have a towel. It does take a while. And the time I'm recording this video, it's definitely very late. Probably almost 1 in the morning or something like that, or similar. But yeah, dealing with the brand, like I said, it's one of those things. Like, you got folks that will modify something like this all day long, but it is a whole ordeal. Now, something I can say that'd be worth owning for something like this: H866 vinyl cement. That and some material of this. Or either that, I get some of that clear vinyl from like Joann's or your local craft store. As you can tell, being very round. The number of pumps in total, I couldn't even tell you. I'm not keeping track. And again, I know the room probably could use some cleaning work and all that, but again, work in progress. That requires a bit of moolah that I currently don't have at the moment to afford the supplies needed to properly store everything like I want. Sensor bug there. Again, losing mobility here. And you could wear this thing pretty loose too, by the way, if you want to. And be fine. It's one of those things, you can pleat this thing however full you want. Well, it'd just be a matter of getting a suit big enough that fits your size. For me, I got like one of the larger ones they had. And they're just off Sunja and Bailey labels. And they do tons of other stuff too. They work with brands like TikTok, Facebook, you name it. A lot of companies tend to get that kind of material made up for various marketing events. Once I get this thing fully inflated here, on for a few minutes, then I'll showcase how you get it off. Basically, it's to give you kind of a quick sort of spoiler alert, it's doing the reverse of putting it on. Except in this case, the first thing you want to do is get a bit of the air out of the suit. And then deal with the zippers, because the zippers are going to be the fastest way to get the air out. Obviously with that, you do the outer one, because the one that you're wearing on the inside, because it's basically a two-part suit. You have an inner suit and an outer suit. The inner suit is the one you're actually wearing when you put the suit on. The outer suit is basically creates kind of like a middle chamber all your air is going into. So then with that one, when it comes time to get released from the suit, it basically just be a matter of undoing the back zipper, and then there you go. Now if I were to do this on a more heavier duty scale, more professional scale, I'd probably do this in a way bigger space. A lot more room. And multiple cameras. More so to figure out how to do it like in a 360 variant. Like right now, I've got mobility. Move around and do, whatever else. Honestly, again, with anything in life, some things are better off done when you have two people around. Literally. Even some costumes can be that way where it requires two people just to get in a state of, hey, this works, or hey, this does whatever. So, always good to be prepared. You can do this as a singular person deal, like I've done here with this video today. But even with that, still gotta be careful. So I can definitely feel on the inside where it's starting to push against my body. Believe me, it feels nice. But hopefully, quality-wise, these do look good when you are viewing them. But yeah, you can tell, this arm, totally free. Can't do anything with it, can't even reach over here to the other side, can't do squat. Can't do diddly nothing. Whereas this side is the one that's basically doing the pumping mark here. Yeah, not too long now, I'll have this sucker good and tight. Because in a sense, you're basically just in a giant round ball. Here's another good thing I'd say with something like this. That'd be like thinking of the idea of what would it be like if you were inside a balloon? Bit of an ideology there too, you know? Bit of thought. But yes. Now I will have to say though, in our society we do tend to have a real bad habit of creating a lot of hate and not so much love. Or more so, very one-sided beliefs. Opinion's not much of an idea. But either way, it is obviously one of those many things in life that we as people can work on to make it work. So yeah, definitely starting to come more on my head here. I think we're trying to hit the full point on this thing. The feet, I'm really touching the ground on it here. My mobility, limited. Coming up close. And again, and further here, limited mobility. Now you really want to get crazy with it, you could probably put some other stuff inside the suit too to go with you. So honestly, I don't want to check out too much. See, my arms are feeling it. Tightness overall here. Limited mobility. That's just one big giant Blu-ray at this point. Yeah. And again, like I said, it's saying too tight, cause major damage. And eventually I would like to get more suits like this or similar, but odds is going to be a project. And now for the final phase of the ordeal. We're losing a bit here, but that's okay. Hopefully we get it. Oh, there now, I'm just like the air pump. To toss it aside. That's why I say, not to people up. Big random blue. And believe me, my arms are definitely feeling tired. You only roll around a little bit in this. But even at that point, depending on your weight, you're a good 400-pounder guy, I wouldn't advise it. It's going to be way lighter, yes. But even then, safety is paramount every time, no matter what you're doing. Big, round, and huge. Yeah. I think right now the noise is just pondering. You're basically just stuck here. You can't really do anything because your arms are all bent up with everywhere else because your body is so huge. I'll do a peek. What else? Think of this like you turned into some giant blob. Only in this case, you're random blue. But yes. On to you. Maybe a full 360 here. the wall around just to get a full view. Again, can I do something simple? Can't. It's a whole ordeal. As you can tell, the ability even runs limited because you don't necessarily know the full space here. Ooh. Maybe fun and wood. Yep. Man, it's a huge round boy. See me? Even going up here near the where the camera's at, can't even touch it. Not being a thing. You say like I said, the outline's not like this. And you can do it in a house all day long. But you really want to better off wearing something like this inside of a event. I guess now we're ready for it here. Not a bad deal. I don't know about y'all, but I think I'm ready to come in and complete the suits. Get out of it. If you want, just I'm not popping it around here. We're doing a few minutes to deflate so you can get enough ink to be able to get to the bag zipper. Because right now, I can't move. There's a little spot right here where my hand is. There's where the air valve is. I'm not y'all, but I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, let it up. Obviously, got big hands, and there's a different fit in the hole. Oh, isn't that just so nice? The walls are kind of redirecting it. And like that, once you get the thing to a decent point that you can come in here and take the gutter off, you're good. Because you gotta have an ability that you can even get the, this off. And you could probably even do this out a bit with all kinds of stuff if you wanted to. And just avoiding a big brown boy. Big brown blueberry. That really won't muffle. Yeah, isn't this nice being a big brown boy? Big brown blueberry. But yeah, air valve here. Like I said, once you get it all done up here, it's easy enough to take it off. You just gotta give yourself enough mobility here. Then you can walk around it, you need to do, and whatever else. It's fun to enjoy it. It's just one of those things that when you are doing them on, they can get hot. Hence the need for a constant AC. Or the cooling vests again, as I've repeated numerous times in a row. But that's nice being a big brown, blueberry blob. really heavy and being okay back in, but even that's going to be kind of a hard one to deal with. So now that's maybe we can actually move around a bit. It's the freedom. So we can bring the arms in. And do the zipper. Only not quite. Takes it a bit. But you do enough here, you can at least move your arms about as needed. And not move the hoop. What can I tell? Oh, I'll find it after the fact. Now I will say too, once you are done with it, you're sweating and doing, give the suit time to air out. I haven't really figured out a good solution yet, but right now the best thing I've got is just letting it sit on the floor and in the space to let it air out. But yeah. Alright. I think we're now ready to run, we can there you are. Yeah. A few more minutes. Yeah. I've also mentioned too, trying to use your phone to do anything. They have another hurdle. Yeah, that's off to the side of it. A big, huge, round. Like I said, you can do this in a more natural way, or of course there is a zipper in the back. Now, granted, at first it actually was weighing this big, or was this massive, when this thing was fully unsuited, let me tell you. Ooh, that'd be a not great environment, I have to say. But we're getting there. An hour or so pumping, so let me tell you. But so far today, it's probably my longest video I've recorded for y'all. The best thing for now, that thing that we can try and, move more properly. The next thing to do would be to get the arms back in. Again, like I said, that can be challenging sometimes with suits. But basically, the next stage of the ordeal to work around back. Well, and of course, use the zipper. That's something that can be a bit stubborn. But that's basically the fastest way, I'd say, to get the air out and flatten the suit out a bit. And obviously, the store, it's pretty easy. That will be a video for another day. Basically, you want it in a cool, dry place. Ideally, I recommend using the bag that comes with the suit when you purchase it, as that'll help. But there, you can tell the whole thing finishes goes flat pretty quick. Most times I'll see stuff like this more for like advertising and that kind of deal, but that's the general premise. And honestly, when you're getting it down, you honestly want to do it down enough on the zipper here that you can actually get out of it fully. They do get pretty long ways. Of course, sometimes these little bits here can get like little teeth or this little cover thing around. It'd be a little bit of a pain to work with. But once you've done that, it's really just a matter of then just climbing in the same way you got into it. It's the chair. Taking the ends out. Flip the end over. And layer it all out. And as you can tell, my body is covered in literal sweat. Hence, we're having a suit like this, totally worth it. That and of course AC. But honestly, thank y'all for watching the video today here. And we are going to, give me a second, call it from here. So have a good one.